Good evening, everybody. Welcome. This is your invitation tonight to look closer, to not only examine our King Jesus' suffering to understand what was necessary on our behalf, but to understand his perfection in the midst of each trial. Each stage of his death and abandonment from his disciples, in ridicule, in mocking, in pain. If you are also in this season of your life, if that resonates you, you're in the midst of something like that, in suffering, pain, darkness, then I would invite you to sit, watch, listen. You'll see Christ knows your deepest hardships. So see the contemplative images that will be up on the screen. Those are from Judy Krasinski tonight. Meditate on the words spoken and sung. Just invite you into that. Would you pray with me? Jesus, help us to meet you in this time, to sit and come face to face with your deepest, darkest hours. May we know that your love was so great for us that you would endure the earthly trauma and violence, become our sin and shame, so that we might have a right relationship with you. How good and wonderful this day. Amen. We're going to sing together, What Wondrous Love Is This?
I'll sing on, and
and sore. Jesus ready stands to save you, full of pity, love, and power. He is able, he is able, he is willing, doubt no more. He is able, he is able, he is willing, doubt no more.
Believed what he has heard from us, and to whom has the arm of the Lord been revealed? For he grew up before him like a young plant, and like a root out of dry ground. He had no form or majesty that we should look at him, and no beauty that we should desire him. He was despised and rejected by men, a man of sorrows and acquainted with grief. And as one from whom men hide their faces, he was despised, and we esteemed him not. Surely he has borne our griefs and carried our sorrows. Yet we esteemed him stricken, smitten by God, and afflicted. But he was pierced for our transgressions, he was crushed for our iniquities. Upon him was the chastisement that brought us peace, and with his wounds we are healed. All we like sheep have gone astray, we have turned, every one to his own way. And the Lord has laid on him the iniquity of us all. He was oppressed and he was afflicted, yet he opened not his mouth. Like a lamb that is led to the slaughter, and like a sheep that before its shearers is silent, so he opened not his mouth.
It was early in the morning on the day of the preparation of the Passover. Now it was the governor's custom at the festival to release a prisoner chosen by the crowd. At that time, there was a well-known prisoner whose name was Barabbas, a man who had been thrown into prison for an insurrection in the city and for murder. But all the chief priests and the elders of the people made their plans to have Jesus executed. So they bound him, led him away, and handed him over to Pilate, the governor. Is this the man? Is Jesus? Everyone was talking about?
This man is misleading our nation and forbidding us to give tribute to Caesar.
Did you hear that? Is that true?
He stirs up the people, teaching throughout all Judea, from Galilee even to this place.
Who gave him the authority to do that?
He says that he himself is Christ, a king.
Are you the king of the Jews?
You have said so.
Do you not hear how the chief priests and elders testify against you?
But Jesus made no reply, not even to a single charge, and the governor was amazed.
Where are you from? You will not speak to me? Do you not know that I have the authority to release you and authority to crucify you?
You would have no authority over me at all unless it had been given you from above. Therefore, he who delivered me over to you has the greater sin.
I do not find this man guilty of any of your charges against him.
If you release this man, you are not Caesar's friend. Everyone who makes himself a king opposes Caesar.
Man of sorrows, what a name for the Son of God.
For I hear many whispering, terror on every side. They conspire against me and plot to take my life.
The crowd had begun to gather outside, demanding a prisoner. Pilate brought Jesus out and sat him down on the judgment seat at a place called the Stone Pavement, and in Aramaic, Gabbatha. Pilate asked them,
Which one do you want me to release to you? Barabbas or Jesus, who is called the Messiah?
Give us Barabbas.
What shall I do then with Jesus, who is called the Messiah?
Crucify him!
Why? What crime has he committed?
The crowd was urgent, demanding with loud cries that he should be crucified, and their voices prevailed.
Shall I crucify your king?
We have no king but Caesar.
Crucify him.
When Pilate saw that he was getting nowhere, but that instead an uproar was starting, he took water and washed his hands in front of the crowd.
I am innocent of this man's blood. It is your responsibility.
He spoke his preparation. He spoke of this time. Said they will hand him over to be mocked, to be flogged, to be crucified. So they led him down to the post he knew to be tied and bound, to be stripped and bruised with a scarlet robe wrapped around his frame. They spit insults inside a deserving name. Then the whip falls down on his back. You come again with your nine black straps. So whip fall down, you can have your day. For these stripes will heal, oh, these stripes will save. And you can strike this man, you can make him bleed, but someday you'll answer on your knees. So wind those thorns, make your cursed crown, while you bind those horns, strap a good reason. There's a sacrifice on the table set, but if son was spared in the Lord's he forgets. You can strike this man, you can make him bleed, but someday you'll answer on your knees. So whip fall down, would you make your mark? You have set the stage, you are just the start. You have paved the way, you are just the start. You have paved the way, you are just the start.
I offered my back to those who beat me, my cheeks to those who pulled out my beard. I did not hide my face from mocking and spitting.
Pilate released Barabbas to them, but he had Jesus flogged and handed him over to be crucified.
The governor's soldiers took Jesus and gathered the whole company of soldiers around him. They stripped him and put a scarlet robe on him, and then twisted together a crown of thorns and set it on his head. They put a staff in his right hand. Then they knelt down in front of him and mocked him.
Hail,
King
of the Jews! They spit on him and took the staff and struck him on the head again and again. After they had mocked him, they took off the robe and put his own clothes on him. Then they led him away to be crucified.
And as they led him away, they seized one Simon of Cyrene, who was coming in from the country, and laid on him the cross to carry it behind Jesus.
Brother Simon of Cyrene, you know not what you mean. You know not what you mean. Chosen from the ranks unknown, enlisted in an army, the only one worth fighting for. The only one worth fighting for. Lost, I'm sure, but what you hold was made to save the world. So broken tree, so beautiful. Water, blood, the stains to come, but your sweat joins in the mist like no others ever did. Like no others ever did. Like no others ever did. Like no others ever did.
Jesus, helped by Simon of Cyrene to carry the cross. Now let's stop right here. Freeze time. see dangerously close to the end. Roman nails are real, and they are coming. If now is not the time of salvation for Jesus, then when? God will not be mocked, we are told, and yet they have. They have mocked him. They have mocked God's Son, the one, the long-awaited King. They have put a crown of thorns on his head. They have dressed him in a fake purple kingly robe. They have struck him. They have put a scepter in his hand, laughing at him, kneeling before him. Surely God will show now that he cannot be mocked. Is this not the moment for God to show? I mean, Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, they were saved at the last second from the fiery furnace of pagan Babylon. Will not God's king be saved, therefore, from pagan Rome? It is the last moment. Daniel was rescued from lions. How much more should we expect God now to save the one who is much more than a prophet like Daniel? Now is the time to save your king, O God. If God the Father does not save Jesus, the King, the Christ, then people they'll get the wrong idea. He'll look like a failure. He'll look like a failed poser king. He'll look like a faithless king, a sinner, one that you disapprove of, O God. He'll look like a king cursed by you. Oh God, do you not see this? People will not understand. Now, 1,000 years earlier, you, God, described how you would punish a faithless king of Israel when you made a covenant with David and his sons. You said that if a king, a son of David, committed sin, that he would receive blows from the rods of men. It was said that he would receive stripes from men. And we understand this. The poetic justice here would be that a faithless king would result in his subjects ruling over him, tormenting him. Oh God, you must save your King Jesus now, lest people get the wrong idea that he is another sinful, selfish king. It looks like he's being punished, just as you said a sinful king would be punished. And look, he's literally being beaten with the rod of men. He's literally receiving the stripes of men as they lay their whips on his back. They intend to hang him from a cross, from wood taken from a tree. And again, people will get the wrong idea, O Lord. For long ago, Moses said that a person hung on a tree is under God's curse, under your curse. Joshua defeated kings in the promised land, and they were hung on a tree under God's curse. These poser, fake kings of the promised land, cursed by God, hung on a tree. That's what happens to these frauds, these violent enemies of God. Oh God, you must save your King Jesus now. Lest people think that he's just another fraudulent king of the promised land, cursed by God, hung on a tree. God, even the crown of thorns on his head will mislead. We have read in Genesis for centuries how God cursed the ground due to man's sin, and when he did so, thorns appeared. Thorns appeared. Again, you must save now, O God. The people who know scriptures will see this curse of thorns on his head, the curse of the tree, all of this, and they will not understand. They will not understand what it looks like he's been cut off from his own people, from God's people, the Israelites, handed over to the Gentiles. Again, this looks like punishment for horrible, faithless sinners in Israel. People who know the scriptures will think this, Lord. Cut off from his people, handed over to foreigners. They will see this and it will confuse them. They will not understand. They will not understand. I do not understand. I do not understand why this is happening. I do not understand why you let this happen, Lord. Why you let your son be misunderstood for a failed king. Why you let your son be treated as a faithless sinner. Why you allow him to be cursed. Why you allow him to appear like this in a vile display of all that's wrong with men. Allowing him to be crushed by all of it. And giving the false appearance that he deserved it all. I do not understand. There must be a reason for all this. There must be a reason why Jesus is treated like this. Why he must be mocked, cursed, hung on a tree. There must be a reason why he has to endure the death that sinners deserve. Why he must endure the death that sinners deserve. There must be a reason why he has to endure the death that sinners deserve.
Dogs surround me. A pack of villains encircles me. They pierce my hands and my feet. All my bones are on display. People stare and gloat over me. They divide my clothes among them and cast lots for my garment.
And when they came to a place called Golgotha, which means place of the skull, there they crucified him. It was the 3rd hour. They offered him wine to drink, mixed with gall. But when he tasted it, he would not drink it.
When they had crucified him, they divided his garments among them by casting lots. Then they sat down and kept watch over him there.
Over his head, Pilate put the charge against him, which read,
This is Jesus, the King of the Jews.
The chief priests opposed him, saying,
Do not write King of the Jews, but rather, this man said, I am King of the Jews.
What I have written, I have written.
And those who passed by derided him, shaking their heads and saying,
You who would destroy the temple and rebuild it in 3 days, save yourself.
If you are the Son of God, come down from the cross.
So also the chief priests with the scribes and elders mocked him, saying,
He saved others. He cannot save himself. He is the King of Israel. Let him come down from the cross, and we will believe in him.
He trusts in God. Let God deliver him now if he desires him. For he said, I am the Son of God.
Were you there when they crucified my Lord? Were you there when they crucified my Lord? Oh, sometimes it causes me to tremble, tremble, tremble. Were you there when they crucified my Lord? Were you there when they nailed him to the tree? Were you there when they nailed him to the tree? Oh, sometimes it causes me to tremble, tremble, tremble. Were you there when they nailed him to the tree? Were you there when they laid him in the tomb? Were you there when they laid him in the tomb? Oh, sometimes it causes me to tremble, tremble, tremble. Were you there when they laid him in the tomb?
Therefore, I will give him a portion among the great, and he will divide the spoils with the strong, because he poured out his life unto death and was numbered with the transgressors. For he bore the sin of many and made intercession for their transgressors.
2 others, who were criminals, were led away and crucified beside him, one on his right and one on his left.
Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do.
One of the criminals who were hanged railed at him, saying,
Are you not the Christ? Save yourself and us.
But the other rebuked him, saying,
Do you not fear God, since you are under the same sentence of condemnation? And we indeed justly, for we are receiving the due reward of our deeds. But this man has done nothing wrong. Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom.
Truly, I say to you, today you will be with me in paradise.
and wounded, sick and sore. Jesus ready stands to save you, full of pity, love, and power. He is able, He is able, He is willing, doubt no more. He is able, He is able, He is willing, doubt no more. Let not conscience make you linger, nor of fitness fondly dream. All the fitness He requireth is to feel your need of Him. And this He gives you, this He gives you, this the Spirit's rising beam. This He gives you, this He gives you, this the Spirit's rising beam. Agonizing in the garden, lo, your master prostrate lies. On the bloody tree behold Him, hear Him cry before He dies. It is finished, it is finished, sinners will this not suffice. It is finished, it is finished, sinners will this not suffice.
Would you join us and sing this final verse together? Though the
Incarnate God ascended, pleads the merit of His blood. Venture on Him, venture wholly, let no other trust in truth. None but Jesus, none but Jesus can do helpless sinners good. None but Jesus, none but Jesus can do helpless sinners good.
And I will pour out on the house of David and the inhabitants of Jerusalem a spirit of grace and supplication. They will look on me, the one they have pierced, and they will mourn for him as one mourns for an only child, and grieve bitterly for him as one grieves for a firstborn son.
Now from the 6th hour there was darkness over all the land until the 9th hour. And about the 9th hour Jesus cried out with a loud voice, saying,
Eli,
My God,
Eli,
my God,
lama
why have you forsaken
sabachthani.
me?"
And some of the bystanders, hearing it, said,
This man is calling Elijah. Let us see whether Elijah will come to save him.
Jesus cried out again with a loud voice and breathed his last.
And behold, the curtain of the temple was torn in two from top to bottom, and the earth shook, and the rocks were split. The tombs also were opened.
When the centurion and those who were with him keeping watch over Jesus saw the earthquake and what took place, they were filled with awe and said, "Truly, this was the Son of God."
All the crowds that had assembled for this spectacle, when they saw what had taken place, returned home, beating their breasts.
There were also women looking from a distance, among whom were Mary Magdalene and Mary, the mother of James and Joseph, and the mother of the sons of Zebedee.
One of the soldiers pierced his side with a spear, and at once there came out blood and water. He who saw it has borne witness. His testimony is true, and he knows that he is telling the truth, that you also may believe.
And they made his grave with the wicked, and with a rich man in his death, although he had done no violence, and there was no deceit in his mouth.
When evening had come, since it was the day of preparation, that is, the day before the Sabbath, there came a rich man from Arimathea named Joseph. He was a respected member of the council and was also himself looking for the kingdom of God. He went to Pilate and asked for the body of Jesus, and Pilate ordered it to be given to him.
Nicodemus also, who earlier had come to Jesus by night, came bringing a mixture of myrrh and aloes, about 75 pounds in weight. So they took the body of Jesus and bound it in linen cloths with the spices, as is the burial custom of the Jews.
Now in the place where he was crucified there was a garden, and in the garden a new tomb in which no one had yet been laid. They placed his body in the tomb and rolled a great stone to close the entrance of the tomb. The woman who had come with him from Galilee followed and saw the tomb and how his body was laid.
On the Sabbath, they rested according to the commandment.
Your dead shall live, their bodies shall rise. You who dwell in the dust, awake and sing for joy. For your dew is a dew of light, and the earth will give birth to the dead.